Important update about YouTube playlists. Hey everyone. We've received many messages asking why our YouTube playlists aren't showing up. Do we create YouTube playlists? Yes, we absolutely do. So why can't you see them? Honestly, we're not sure. We've been in contact with YouTube support for several months now, but we still haven't received a clear answer or solution. After much discussion, our team has decided to take matters into our own hands. We believe the issue might be related to the number of playlists we've created on a single channel, possibly too many. Our solution? We're launching 2 additional YouTube channels, giving us a total of 3. This way, we can organize our audiobooks better and avoid the playlist visibility issue in the future. This change only affects our YouTube audience. If you're a patron supporter, you can still access all our audiobooks by visiting the collection menu on Patreon. Thanks so much for your time and continued support. Happy listening. Chapter 297, Hurry up and use your ultimate move already. A flurry of snowflakes swirled as Mokizu appeared beside Chizhou. This time, Chizhou didn't attempt to slit her throat, instead saying, "So it really wasn't you who released those bugs?" Hearing this, Mokizu looked utterly exasperated. "My character design is clearly that of a nice, cool, intelligent beauty. Do you think something so disgusting would match my aesthetic? What nonsense are you spouting about character design?" Chizhou looked at her disdainfully. "You think this is some novel?" Mokizu placed her hands on her hips proudly. "If this were a novel, I'd definitely be the female lead." 6. What 6? The pear tree. Mokizu extended her hand, demanding the pear tree. Chizhou pretended not to understand and stepped forward to examine the leech frozen inside the ice sculpture. "Speaking of which, what is this thing? How come the leech is so big? Wait, if it's a living creature, why isn't it being attacked by the eerie plants? Even my turtle got beaten up. So, is this a plant? You're asking me?" Mokizu pointed at the leech inside. "Want me to ask it directly?" Chizhou rolled his eyes at her. "You're rolling your eyes at me now. Wait, don't change the subject. Hand over the pear tree." "What's the rush? Where would I even put such a huge pear tree? Tell me, where on my body could I possibly store it?" Mokizu. Looking at the leech frozen in ice, Chizhou still felt uneasy. "Hey, can't you just crush it into powder? Like those overpowered techniques in novels where enemies get instantly pulverized. So demanding." Mokizu raised both hands and clapped them together toward the frozen leech. Smack. Just like when dealing with tiding, 2 enormous snow palms appeared and smashed down on the leech with a double strike. The ice sculpture shattered, and the leech was pulverized along with it. There, problem solved. Mokizu dusted her hands off and extended her palm toward Chizhou again. "Pear tree. Pear tree my ass. Run." Mokizu hadn't noticed because she lacked detection abilities. Every single shard of ice contained a tiny leech, each no larger than half a grain of rice. When shattered, it had divided into countless miniature versions. Just how many tiny leeches could one tongue-sized leech split into? The answer was infinite. These leeches were minuscule yet incredibly fast. Using Fate Insight, Chizhou could even see their sharp mouth parts. They still carried the black flames, but this didn't hinder their assault. Chizhou felt genuinely disgusted. Trypophobia triggered. Their target was solely Chizhou, completely ignoring Mokizu. They didn't even acknowledge Titan, who had just arrived. They pursued only Chizhou relentlessly. This black mist chased after him without respite. Mokizu looked astonished. It survived Frost Gale? How? Though it seems to only be chasing him. Titan wanted to help, but none of his 3 skills worked against this mist of leeches. Chizhou couldn't take it anymore. Running endlessly wasn't a solution. Yet his instincts screamed that physical contact would have unimaginable consequences. "Hey, open this barrier already. This space is too small, they'll catch me eventually." "No way. I haven't gotten my pear tree yet. You'll escape if I open it. Remember, if I die, you'll never see that pear tree again." Mokizu frowned slightly, her white eyelashes fluttering. "Lure them over here. Again? Your move clearly didn't work. Less talking, more moving." Mokizu raised her right hand. Bringing her index and middle fingers together, she placed them vertically before her lips and chanted softly, "Ice coffin burial." A frost blue coffin materialized in the wind, swallowing the black mist pursuing Chizhou. "Seal." With her whisper, another coffin lid appeared and clamped shut. The black mist reacted instantly, trying to escape. Frost Gale. Mokizu acted swiftly, exhaling a freezing gust that blew it back inside. As the lid sealed, the leeches were trapped within. Seeing this, Titan breathed a sigh of relief for Chizhou. He knew the coffin's power. Once sealed, brute force couldn't break it from inside. Nor from outside, for that matter. Chizhou had gotten lucky. Of course, Ordinary storage items couldn't contain Mokizu's ice coffin. There were still many things Chizhou didn't understand about the realm bracelet's special properties. Meanwhile, the black flames didn't extinguish despite the coffin's oxygen deprivation. They kept burning. This was their nature, they wouldn't die out until their target was completely consumed. Combined with the coffin's extreme cold, the leeches experienced true torment between ice and fire. Seeing the leech mist contained, Chizhou nodded. But their relief was short-lived. The leeches regrouped, transforming from mist back into one massive leech. Then, before everyone's eyes, it drilled through the coffin lid and escaped. Chizhou didn't wait for its full emergence before turning to flee, leaving Mokizu standing there in shock. Her ice coffin burial had subdued countless opponents before. No one sealed within had ever escaped. Today's consecutive failures hit her hard. No, they devastated her. First someone who could make her coffin disappear, now this freakish leech that could drill through it. Seeing Mokizu frozen in place, Chizhou shouted, "Can you actually do anything useful? This is life or death. Stop holding back. Use your damn ultimate move already." When Mokizu remained silent, Chizhou tried bluffing, "If you're out of moves, at least open the barrier. I'll leave him as collateral, I promise I won't run." Taiting stepped forward too. "That's right, I'll be your hostage." Mokizu looked utterly done. The great snow barrier couldn't be opened, it was her contingency. If he escaped, she might truly never recover the pear tree. Mokizu took a deep breath. Just one stupid insect causing so much trouble. From what she'd seen, physical destruction was ineffective, it required soul-level elimination. Her only soul-targeting technique. Watching Chizhou desperately dodging the pursuit, she gently closed her eyes. Mokizu exhaled cold air. When her eyes reopened, her irises had changed from ice blue to transparent. Simultaneously, snowflakes throughout the barrier began swirling violently. Her lips parted slightly as she whispered, "Final meditation, eternal soul torment. Snow-clad mountains, southern sky illumination." Chapter 298, Three Souls United. Strike. The next moment, a snowflake flew out from between her eyebrows. This snowflake grew with the wind, expanding almost instantly to a size large enough to cover the entire barrier. The snowflake hovered above everyone's heads, rotating slowly. It seemed to exist, yet also seemed not to exist. At the same time, a pale blue figure flew out from Mokizu's body. It was her soul. Her soul ascended onto this snowflake. Through the snowflake, she could see the souls within the bodies of the people below. The soul of Taideng, who was closest to her, was light purple. Chizhou, who was being chased by the leech, had a light red soul. The leech behind him had a soul of deep black. The key point was that the black soul within the leech had a thread extending far away. Who knew where it connected to? Mokizu frowned slightly. A split soul? No wonder it was so hard to kill. This leech was merely a vessel for that soul. Essentially, what they were dealing with was the main soul at the end of this soul thread. But that was fine. They just needed to sever the connecting thread to eliminate this split soul. Mokizu pointed at the leech and flicked her finger. "Soul, come." The snowflake beneath her feet began rotating faster. A suction force targeting only souls pulled the black soul out from the leech. Mokizu's skill summoned a soul snowflake that could directly extract and absorb any selected soul within its range. Once extracted, the soul was completely under her control. Of course, when using this move, she would also enter a soulless state. Her body would remain in place, defenseless. So under normal circumstances, she wouldn't use this move when fighting alone. This was an unconventional tactic, going against her usual combat habits. The wisp of black soul was absorbed onto the snowflake, struggling helplessly. The massive ice crystal snowflake was like a beautiful giant spiderweb. And it was a moth that had carelessly flown into the web. Mokizu waved her hand, and countless soul snowflakes surged from her body, attacking the soul thread extending from the black soul. But as soon as she acted, she realized something was wrong. So tough. The snowflakes hitting it had no effect at all. What a resilient soul. This must be the toughest soul I've ever seen. No good. If I'm alone, I definitely can't sever this soul thread. Mokizu immediately beckoned to Chizhou below. "Soul, come." No response. Huh? Why isn't it working? Mokizu beckoned again. "Soul, come." Still no response. "Soul, come." Nothing. Can't pull it out? That's impossible. Within this domain, I should be able to extract anyone's soul at will. Does this guy have some kind of soul-protecting item or skill? Meanwhile, Chizhou, who was running for his life, suddenly noticed the leech behind him had stopped chasing him. Huh? What's going on? Is it dealt with? No, the black flames on it haven't disappeared yet. That means the leech isn't dead. Wait, why is that woman also frozen in place? Since the entire Great Snow Barrier was within Chijiao's Fate Insight detection range, he clearly saw what was happening with Mokizu. Did she immobilize the leech? What kind of skill is this? Chijiao drew his blade, turned around, and slashed. Whatever, take advantage while it's down. With one slash, the leech was cut in half. This time, it was truly bisected, not splitting voluntarily. Chijiao's eyes lit up. Great, finally some hope of resolving this. But the next moment, his slashing motion froze, and his entire body locked in place. Chijiao's soul had been pulled by Mokizu onto the giant, invisible snowflake in the sky. He saw the translucent ice blue Mokizu, the purple transparent Tiding, and the pitch black leech. Before he could ask what was happening, Mokizu pointed at Tiding below and beckoned, "Soul, come." The snowflake rotated, and Tiding's purple soul was also absorbed upward. Seeing this, Chijiao immediately understood what had just happened. He never expected Mokizu's move to involve pulling out people's souls. No wonder both the leech and she herself were frozen in place. Their souls had left their bodies. Thanks to his previous experience exorcising spirits with Jiaobi, Chijiao wasn't too shocked having seen souls before. Back then, they dealt with a tentacle monster inside Zai by simply killing Zai outright. When the soul senses the body's death, it leaves. But this woman could directly pull out people's souls. Isn't his skill a bit too overpowered? Wouldn't the bodies of those whose souls were extracted be completely defenseless? However, her soul was also here, leaving her body unprotected too. Chijiao quickly realized the drawback of this skill. It required teamwork. Looking at the two soul forms before her, Mokizu seemed somewhat exhausted. Extracting souls consumed a significant amount of her mental energy. Mokizu had to try 7 times before successfully pulling Chijiao's soul out. "Hey, I'll make this quick. Listen carefully." She pointed at the black soul restrained by the snowflakes and explained, "That leech is just a vessel containing a split soul. The reason it can't be killed is because the main soul hasn't died. As long as the main soul lives, the split soul has an endless energy supply." Hearing this, Chijiao frowned. "This leech is just a split soul? Then what is its main body? Why is it chasing me? Who have I offended that could use such methods?" Chijiao looked back at the leech below, and the image of a purple-haired girl immediately surfaced in his mind. Her. Yes, that strange girl. Just tell me how to deal with this. Chijiao looked straight at Mokizu and spoke. "Attack this soul thread together. Sever it, and without its energy supply, this split soul will dissipate. Only then will that leech truly die." "Attack? How?" Chijiao was baffled. He had no idea how souls could attack. Souls are mutable. Imagine any attack you can think of. It's just a form of expression. What matters is the collision of soul energy. So that's how it is. Chijiao extended his left hand. "So my soul is red? Is it because I learned flame breathing?" With a thought, a blade materialized. Interesting. He then extended his right hand, and a pistol appeared. And as he willed it, the pistol transformed into a submachine gun, rifle, sniper, grenade, and other forms. Mokizu's face darkened. "Stop playing around and hurry up." Coming. As Mokizu granted permission, Chijiao and Tiding's souls, stuck to the snowflake web, regained freedom. Chijiao chose his most familiar long blade, gripping it with both hands, and charged at the black soul, slashing down at the black soul thread. At the same time, Tiding lashed out with several chains, striking together. The black soul, firmly stuck to the snowflake web, could only take the hits. With Mokizu's soul snowflakes assisting, the soul thread finally began to fray. Under the combined assault of 3 souls, a crack appeared at the point of impact. Great, with 2 more people, the effect is obvious. Mokizu's eyes brightened. She immediately said to Chijiao and Tiding, "Push harder. We're almost there." The crack grew larger, with only 1/3 left to sever. But the opponent clearly wasn't giving up either. A surge of thick soul energy traveled along the thread, repairing the hard-earned crack. With this energy supply, the rapidly fraying thread stabilized again. Damn it. Seeing this, Chijiao grew furious. Getting this level 7 key wasn't easy, and now I'm being hunted by her too. His anger flared, strengthening his soul energy. Anger could also enhance soul power. Not enough. What about your goblin companion? We need more people. He's stuck outside your damn barrier. I told you to open it. If I open it, you'll just run away. Run my ass. I told you I wouldn't run, why don't you believe me? I don't. Despite their bickering, they continued attacking the soul thread with full force. You want more people but won't open the barrier? Then wait. What do you mean? Just as Mokizu finished speaking. Boom. The great snow barrier shattered. With the barrier broken, the snowflakes in the sky and the snow on the ground instantly vanished. As if they never existed. The white world turned red again. The blood moon hung high, and the botanical garden remained in its frenzied state. At the same time, Lao Yu, holding the Sand King's spear in his left hand and a landmine in his right, charged in like a madman. Captain! Captain, I did it, Captain! Without the snow obscuring his vision, Lao Yu spotted Qi Zhao immediately. He jogged over to Qi Zhao's side. Seeing Qi Zhao holding the niche iron blade mid-slash, frozen in place, Lao Yu looked puzzled. He followed Qi Zhao's blade trajectory and saw the bisected leech. Leech demon. First a toad demon, now a leech demon. You damn monsters, die. Lao Yu immediately activated the landmine and tossed it onto the bisected leech. At the same time, he hoisted the statue-like Qi Zhao onto his shoulder and quickly retreated. Boom. The mine exploded, leaving a half-meter deep crater where the leech had been. Brother Lamp? Brother Lamp? Strange, why is Brother Lamp also frozen? Hey, this girl. Looks familiar. Lao Yu stared at the motionless Mokizu, momentarily lost in thought. White hair and white eyelashes, how peculiar. Just like my grandpa's white hair. Suddenly, Lao Yu, still carrying Qi Zhao, stumbled back in fright. TT Toad Demon. No wonder she looked familiar. She was the Toad Demon by the pear tree this morning. So you didn't die, you shapeshifted. I get it now. Captain and Brother Lamp are like this because of you. Let my captain go, or I won't hold back. Lao Yu pointed at Mokizu and declared, I, Lao Yu, am a Calabash brother, born to fight demons. Don't test me. Meanwhile, up on the snowflake web, Mokizu's face darkened. Because with the great snow barrier broken, more than just Lao Yu had entered. The strange plants had too. The nearby aberrant plants sensed Mokizu's presence and all rushed toward her. Damn it, what did your goblin companion do? My body's still down there. I have to cancel the skill now. Hearing this, Qi Zhao urgently stopped her. No. We're almost there. What about my body? Don't forget. If I die, your pear tree is gone. You. Don't worry about those damn plants, they're still far. Focus on helping me kill this thing, and I'll give you the photosynthetic serum later. Fuck. Mokizu was so frustrated she cursed, putting even more force into her attacks. Goblin. Help. Mokizu beckoned at Lao Yu below, and his soul was swiftly pulled up onto the rapidly spinning snowflake. Lao Yu's soul was a beautiful blue. Unlike Mokizu's icy, unapproachable blue, his was a vibrant sapphire. Standing on the snowflake web, Lao Yu was utterly confused. He had no idea what was happening. But he saw Qi Zhao. Lao Yu, come help cut this black thread. Captain. Lao Yu's eyes lit up, and he immediately ran over. After Qi Zhao's explanation, Lao Yu pounced on the soul thread and started biting it with his teeth. With Lao Yu joining, the previously stalled progress finally advanced again. But below, several aberrant plants were now within 50 meters of Mokizu. They would reach her soon. The closest was a spine daughter. The thought of that thing burrowing into her body was too much for Mokizu. No. I have to cancel the skill now. If something happens to my body, the skill will collapse automatically. Hearing this, Qi Zhao looked down. Indeed, many aberrant plants were now within attacking range of Mokizu. Mokizu couldn't die. She was his only hope of eliminating this split soul. Hey. Send me down, and I'll inject you with the photosynthetic serum. Then pull me back up. Mokizu paused at Qi Zhao's words. Right, she'd forgotten about the serum. Then hurry. Without a great snow barrier, this skill won't last much longer. Soul, return. With Mokizu's command, Qi Zhao's soul descended from the snowflake web. Returning to his body, his eyes snapped open, and he immediately activated words of power, 0 time, jumping off Lao Yu's shoulder. Flame breathing, third form, blazing universe. Qi Zhao slashed downward, flames trailing his blade, severing the spine daughter that was about to crawl under Mokizu's skirt. After dealing with the daughter, Qi Zhao quickly retrieved a photosynthetic serum. Awakening the serum, he stabbed it into Mokizu's shoulder. As the golden liquid entered her body, a small yellow flower soon sprouted from her head. Chapter 299, When in Trouble, Seek the Organization. As the yellow flower emerged, the surrounding strange plants that had been closing in, some even preparing to attack, all lost their target and dispersed. Seeing the crisis to her body resolved, Mokizu once again curled her finger at Qi Zhao. Come, soul. Come, soul. Come, soul. Come, soul. Finally, after Mokizu continuously curled her finger 3 times without pause, Qi Zhao's slightly transparent red soul was successfully pulled up. Pulling your soul is such a pain. Huh? What huh? We were just missing your part. Coming. Qi Zhao didn't bother transforming into a blade this time, directly reaching out to pull instead. After all, It was just a contest of soul strength. The form didn't matter. With Qi Zhao back, Mokizu immediately felt the pressure lessen significantly. She looked at Qi Zhao's back, her eyes shimmering. This guy's soul strength was terrifyingly high too. Though of course, still not as strong as hers. Finally, with all 4 souls working together after Qi Zhao's return, the soul thread couldn't keep up with the repairs and snapped with a crisp sound. Once the soul thread broke, the small mass of black soul on the snowflake spiderweb, having lost its supply, dissipated on the spot. Ha! Mokizu exhaled deeply. Maintaining her skill while engaging in soul combat had nearly drained all her mental energy. Release. As Mokizu cancelled her skill, the snowflakes shattered into glowing particles that scattered away. Simultaneously, everyone's souls returned to their respective bodies. Mokizu's pupils changed from transparent back to ice blue as her body involuntarily stiffened. TSSK. A sharp pain came from her right shoulder, where Qi Zhao had injected the photosynthetic serum. Composing herself, she looked at Qi Zhao and extended her hand, her tone still aloof. The pear tree. What's the rush? Qi Zhao rolled his eyes at Mokizu. We haven't even confirmed if it's really resolved yet. He activated Fate Insight again to search for traces of the leech demon. The leech was gone, but not far from the crater Lao Yu had created lay a segment of purple tongue. Qi Zhao immediately rushed over. Thinking he was trying to escape, Mokizu followed closely behind. Lao Yu also trotted after them, while Taiting followed at a leisurely pace. Reaching the tongue, Qi Zhao crouched down, tilting his head to examine it. This segment of purple tongue bore black patterns identical to those on the purple-haired girl. This completely confirmed Qi Zhao's suspicion. The one hunting him was indeed that purple-haired girl. An image flashed through Qi Zhao's mind of her pulling out her tongue to send it after him. Kinda grotesque, but in this place, nothing seemed impossible. Damn, if she could send a tongue after me today, tomorrow it could be a finger. Same principle applies. If she's the one hunting me, I'll never have peace unless she's dealt with. Fuck, all because I took one lousy level 7 key from her. She'd chase me across worlds. God damn it, what terrible luck. It reminded him of that hypothetical question: if you were given $1 billion but had an immortal snail constantly chasing you, would you take it? Qi Zhao's situation was kinda like that. Except he didn't get the billion, and his snail wasn't immortal. Just really strong. She didn't come in person. Was she unable to? Or some other reason? Then how did she find me? Through that key? Not necessarily. She might have skills like Xia Yuan's, able to leave marks on people or other tracking abilities. But the key possibility couldn't be ruled out either. Just a segment of tongue carrying a wisp of split soul, was this terrifying? If her whole self came, wouldn't I be done for? Thinking this, Qi Zhao immediately considered contacting Donghei Izui. When in trouble, seek the organization. What's an organization for? For solving difficulties. He'd already submitted a report yesterday, but there'd been no response or notice yet. Qi Zhao decided to contact Donghei Izui directly about this. Right, back to the train. Before coming here, Qi Zhao hadn't stored the train in his realm bracelet. The moment his soul link with Taiting disconnected, he'd rushed over with Lao Yu. Any delay would have meant more of Taiting's soul core burning away. Fortunately, Qi Zhao arrived in time. Taiting's soul core loss was negligible. Seeing Qi Zhao take out a wooden box to store the purple-black tongue segment, Mokizu extended her hand again. Confirm it's dead? Now give me the pear tree. I can give you the pear tree. Qi Zhao stood up, storing the tongue-containing box in his realm bracelet before turning to Mokizu. But first I need to verify something. Whether that pear tree really can't grow if taken out of this world. What do you mean? Hearing this, Mokizu's eyes turned frosty. What if you're lying to me? You're trying to renege. A chill suddenly spread through the air. Hey. Looking for another fight? Qi Zhao wasn't intimidated. He'd already gotten the gist of her skills. Who said I'm reneging? I just want to test it myself, otherwise it'll bother me. Mokizu exhaled deeply, the cold aura receding slightly. Think about it. If I were lying, why wouldn't I take it myself? Instead of leaving it here where it might encounter people like you. People like me what? I'm a biological conservationist, a plant enthusiast. Protecting pear trees is everyone's responsibility. I just want to do my part. Got a problem with that? Mokizu had never met someone so shameless. If only she could see the pear tree. She'd slap Qi Zhao to death right now. A snowstorm suddenly erupted, temperatures plummeting. The great snow barrier formed once more. I won't waste more words. Last time I ask. Where's the pear tree? Snowflakes slapped Qi Zhao's face. Sensing Mokizu's anger, he immediately pointed at her. Hey, don't think this scares me. Looking all prim and proper like that, you don't seem like a wanted criminal. I advise you not to go down the wrong path. Speaking of which might scare you. I'm from Orderly Heaven, Arrest Division. Chi Zhao pointed at Lao Yu, continuing, see this? My deputy conductor, also from Orderly Heaven's Arrest Division. Then he pointed at distant Tai Ding. And him. All three of us are officially appointed. Get it? Government employees. Mokizu seemed to hear something laughable, her cool eyes actually showing rare amusement. You three look less like Orderly Heaven and more like wanted criminals. Chi Zhao chuckled too. Lao Yu, do I look like a criminal? The conductor catches criminals. He's a great guy. Let me tell you. I'm actually the captain of Orderly Heaven's arrest team. Orderly Heaven. Know it? Donghei Izui. Know her? She's our Orderly Heaven Arrest Division director. She left a lightning mark on me. If my life's in danger, she'll zoom right over. Try laying a finger on me. Mokizu shook her head with a cold laugh. Wasn't it you just now being chased pissing your pants by some stinky bug? Where was your so-called director then? Without blushing or stammering, Chi Zhao retorted, that wasn't life-threatening. Didn't even scratch me. No need for the director. Your bullshitting skills are truly impressive. Mokizu lifted her chin slightly, somewhat haughty. Someone like you? An orderly arrest captain? Using Donghei Izui's name to swindle. How many have you fooled? Her eyes flashed coldly, putting the pear tree aside. I really should teach you a lesson for my sister's sake. Chi Zhao's mouth twisted as if hearing something shocking. See sister? What do you mean, Donghei Izui's your sister? You're Donghei Izui's sister? Holy shit, foes become family. We're on the same side. Chi Zhao immediately pulled out his orderly black card to prove his identity. Look, my ID. Pointing at the photo on the card, he emphasized, me, Chi Zhao. See? That's my photo, no fake, right? Mokizu remained unimpressed. Black markets sell these IDs for 1 train coin. Proves nothing. Damn, which black market? Didn't know about that. Chi Zhao looked genuinely upset. At the same time, suspicion crept onto his face. Wait, no. If you were the director's sister, how wouldn't you know me? I'm a new captain personally promoted by Director Dong. You're the fake one. You're trying to scam me. You say you're the director's sister, but how would I not know if she had a sister? You don't need to know. Then I'll have to take you. This fake sister using the director's name. Back to show her. The fake one knows who they are. Mokizu looked displeased, waving her hand to send 3 ice spikes shooting at Chi Zhao. Meanwhile, in Zhun's Pi City, at Orderly Heaven's Arrest Division branch, in the captain's office. Zai was sitting at Chi Zhao's desk, using his computer to process this month's financial reports. She wore a simple white t-shirt, denim shorts, and beige sandals. Not the issued orderly uniform. Damn it, why do I have to do this too? Wait, no. I'm covering for Chi Zhao. Why does the captain need to approve toilet paper purchases? So annoying, everything needs processing. After work today, gotta find someone to fix his old master. Damn, just 3 days and it's nearly destroyed. What the hell's he been through out there? Zai kicked off her sandals and sat cross-legged on the chair. Hunching slightly, she tightly gripped the thick stack of reports on the desk. Her eyes bore into the dense data and text as if preparing for battle. Just as tension peaked, a notification popped up at the bottom right of her screen. Zai's strained nerves immediately fixated on this sudden message. She instinctively stopped calculating, eyes darting to the flashing box. It clearly displayed, your submitted Z5.3 drone requisition form was rejected due to missing attachments. Click for details. God damn it. 3rd time with this crap. What's missing now? Chi Zhao took everything. Why do I need to supplement paperwork? So damn annoying. Born to be a wage slave or what? Fuck. Zai slammed her mouse down, then quietly picked it up 3 seconds later. Whatever, finish early, rest early. Charge. Just then, knocking came at the door. Zai quickly uncrossed her legs, straightening her posture. She tapped the watch on her left wrist, selecting outfit change. With a flash, her loose white t-shirt became a fitted white blouse. The denim shorts transformed into a form-fitting black secretary skirt. Her bare legs now shimmered. Flesh-tone stockings reflecting light. Black heels appeared on her previously bare feet. Clearly, this was her preset orderly uniform. This was Pi City's Hexed product. Allowing storage of up to 10 outfits for instant switching. Priced at 15 train coins. To wear casual clothes at work, Zai had splurged on one. Honestly, totally worth it. After adjusting her hair slightly, Zai called out, enter. The door opened to reveal a tall woman in a black slit kapao with a fishtail braid. Seeing Donghei Izui enter, Zai quickly stood. Director Dong. Donghei Izui nodded, closing the door behind her. Busy? Seeing the piled documents, she smiled. With Chizhao away, you're working hard. No, not hard at all. Zai waved her hands, smiling. Internally, she cursed. Not hard? Just miserable. After pleasantries, Dong Heizui got to the point. You regularly keep in touch with Chizhao, right? Huh? Yes, we do. Dong Heizui nodded. I read Chizhao's report about Dark Castle submitted yesterday. Can't reach him now. Do you know his location? I checked. He used merits yesterday to exchange Blood Moon Botanical Garden intel. Was it for himself or someone else? Do you know? So Dong Heizui came about this. Blood what garden? No idea. He doesn't report his whereabouts to me. Wait, hold on. This guy has station forecasts. He knows upcoming stops in advance. Why would he exchange station intel? For someone else? Only 3 days out and already a new fling? Damn, sounds like him. So do I know or not? Wait, still not right. Don't they know Chizhao has station forecast as a special module? Why ask me then? Is she testing me? Or do they not actually know about his station forecast? That day the king said Chizhao had multiple special modules. Besides station forecast and anchor point rewind, does he have others? Chapter 300, Avoid this guy, always hiding things from us. He even avoids using the light screen when we're around, as if afraid we'll find out. Damn it, how am I supposed to answer that? Although Zai was thinking a lot inside, in reality, only a second had passed. He used it himself. Upon hearing Zai's affirmative reply, Dong Heizui nodded. I understand. You continue your work, but remember to rest. After saying that, Dong Heizui turned and left. From entering to leaving, it took less than a minute. Watching the office door close, Zai let out a long breath. Chief Dong Heizui, although very beautiful and young, carried too much imposing pressure. Except for Zai, no one knew about Dong Heizui's arrival. Her departure was equally secretive. Dong Heizui transformed into lightning, moving at an extremely fast speed. She arrived at the top floor of the office building, where one person stood overlooking the bustling Pi City. He had white hair and wore loose white practice clothes. It was Wang. Confirmed? Wang turned around, his blue eyes bright and spirited. Confirmed, he's in the Blood Moon Botanical Garden. He's currently level 33, with a latest departure time of 7 p.m. There's still plenty of time before departure. We can't reach him, so most likely he's exploring outside. Since he exchanged intelligence, the special plans there are quite interesting. If he misses the Blood Moon, there's still a lot to gain. Regardless, he's missing now. We have to prepare for the worst. Dong Heizui's noble brows slightly furrowed. Could it really be a void? Wang nodded. Based on the description, most likely. Too many died in Zuna's time. Those voids obtained a large amount of food. Maybe it's a newly birthed void. Wang turned back, watching the crowds below and listening to the noisy bustle. We have to crush these things in the cradle. I understand. Dong Heizui immediately took out a purple train with only one initial carriage from her storage items. She boarded the train and logged into her account. Special module, travel with you. Spend train coins, choose a conductor, input the station where they are, and you can immediately depart. The conductor's name and ID, as well as the station name, must all be correct to travel successfully together. If the information is wrong, not only will the travel fail, but there will be a 12-hour cool down. If Chizhao isn't in the Blood Moon Botanical Garden, the travel will fail. That's why Dong Heizui came all this way to confirm with Zai. Selected conductor, Chizhao 19,990,526, selected station, Blood Moon Botanical Garden, preparing to depart, please fasten your seatbelts. Hearing the broadcast confirm Chizhao's location, Dong Heizui relaxed. Travel with you activated successfully. Because she brought a passenger, Wang, Dong Heizui had to spend 1 train coin. With Dong Heizui's input of 1 train coin, a flash of white light appeared, and the train vanished. The train didn't travel through the void but teleported instantly. Another flash of white light, and Dong Heizui's train was already stationed. Almost instantaneously, from the public station in Zun, she arrived at the Blood Moon Botanical Garden, right beside Chizhao's train. This was travel with you. Once activated, it instantly teleports to the correct destination. Unlike station announcements that require normal void travel to reach the destination. Of course, these 2 special modules have different focuses. The train door opened, and Wang stepped out first. It's really the Blood Moon. Nearby, the strange plants that sensed human presence rushed over together. A flowing golden light shimmered around Wang's body. This golden light isolated his aura from the outside world. Dong Heizui's body was also wrapped in purple lightning, which had the same isolating effect. The strange plants, having lost their target, either rooted in place or turned away. At the same time, Wang's eyes emitted golden light as he scanned all directions. You came to the right place. There are definitely traces of the void here. He's definitely not in the train. They're in that direction. Go check it out. I'll go find that void. Dong Heizui nodded at the order. After Wang's figure disappeared on the spot, she transformed into a streak of lightning and flew toward the direction he indicated. Soon, she saw the large white Great Snow Barrier. Dong Heizui raised her noble brows, very familiar with this Great Snow Barrier. It was one of her sister's signature skills. One could say it was even her core skill. Could it be Xiaoxu? What are the chances? How could she be here? It was the rainy season, she should be resting in Snowflake Village. Qi Zhao was also inside. Had they encountered some danger? Were they fighting an enemy together? No matter what, breaking the barrier would reveal the truth. Even if it really was Xiaoxu, once the barrier was broken, it wouldn't endanger her life. Thinking this, Dong Heizui's purple lightning flared from her hand. With a light punch, she shattered the incredibly hard Great Snow Barrier. Meanwhile, outside the Blood Moon Botanical Garden, a purple-haired girl floated in the void, frowning. Opposite her, a man with white hair and a youthful face also floated in the void. Stinky dog, you're quick at calling people. Not long after the soul line between her and the split soul she sent in was cut, this human appeared. It was obviously a hostile visitor. Wang stood with his hands behind his back, rare frost on his face, completely without any smile. He looked at the purple-haired girl and said, "Haven't seen you before. You must be a newly born void." Hearing this word, the purple-haired girl showed disdain and disgust. She had attended a meeting held by the White Eye before and had heard that void was a unified name humans gave them. "Pa. Humans, don't casually impose names on us." "What, did you give yourself a name?" Wang shook his head slightly. "That wouldn't be good." The next moment, Wang's eyes flashed gold. Two golden six-pointed star magic arrays bloomed from his pupils. These golden arrays rapidly expanded, one upward, one downward. They connected, forming a golden cylindrical cage around him and the purple-haired girl. The purple-haired girl laughed coldly at this. "Unnecessary, human. I won't run." She was extremely confident, pointing at Wang. "You're strong, dog, but still a bit weaker than me." The next moment, a pair of golden palms appeared. With a smack, the golden palms clasped together, smashing the purple-haired girl into minced meat. Blood mixed with the minced flesh was squeezed out from the golden palms, flying in all directions. However, all were stopped by the golden barrel-shaped magic ray. Wang didn't bother to chat. He struck directly. Back in Zune, when he hit Wu Yu, he only used 30% of his strength. This time, he used his full 10/10 power. Even the girl's bones were crushed into powder. But the next second, the minced meat scattered everywhere wriggled and transformed into numerous terrifying purple leeches. Wang frowned and raised his hand to point. Countless golden rays shot out, turning into golden little snakes that devoured the scattered leeches. For every leech, Wang manifested a golden snake. Soon, the leeches were swallowed up by the little snakes. But the next second, the leeches broke through the snakes' bellies, crawling out from their bodies. They could even devour the illusory golden light. The leeches quickly recombined, and the girl returned to her original form. This time, anger replaced the previous contempt on her face. "Damn leeches. That hurts so much. Damn dog. A biting dog. I'll hang you up and beat you 100 million times." She crazily flew at Wang, revealing sharp, pale fangs. Wang waved his hand, another giant golden hand appeared, grabbing her. Wu Yu was captured like this before. If not for Zhang Zuan using Killstop to chop it open, Wu Yu couldn't have escaped the golden giant hand. Because this golden light not only imprisoned the body but also tightly bound every organ inside. Although the girl's face twisted in pain, black patterns swam over her body, and purple ghostly light appeared. The golden hand illuminated by the purple glow instantly vanished. The giant hand was melted open by the purple glow, losing its grip. The girl shouted and kept rushing at Wang. Not only that, golden light bloomed in her pupils just like wings. Golden light arrows shot at Wang from all directions. This was her ability. She could devour everything in this world. Whether matter or energy. And what she devoured could be assimilated into her being, used or controlled by her. That tongue she pulled out also had this power. Qi Zhao's sixth sense was right. If the leech touched someone, the contacted part of the body would be remotely eaten by the girl and become part of her. For example, if touched on the hand would no longer be controlled by Qi Zhao but by the girl. Wang, having experienced countless battles, almost instantly analyzed her ability. Really eats everything. I get it, you're greedy. Wang sighed. That's right. Most of the people who died in Zun last time were extremely greedy. They all wanted to benefit from the chaos. They created you. He waved his big hand, absorbing all the light arrows into the six-pointed star magic array above him. The girl seemed paused as if someone pressed the pause button. Wang walked forward steadily. Though the ground beneath was void, it felt like a flat surface. He reached out and lightly pressed her forehead. Too greedy will upset your stomach. The purple-haired girl's body cracked like broken porcelain. Bright golden light blossomed from the cracks. Because the golden light she had devoured and refined just now suddenly lost control and turned against her. This had never happened before. Once devoured and refined, whether matter or energy, it belonged to her. How was this possible? How could this happen? A rare look of terror appeared on the girl's face. Meanwhile, inside the great snow barrier, Chizhao wielded the flaming Nichiren blade, continuously chopping at the ice shards Mokizu shot at him. Hey! You're playing for real. Chizhao actually had some concerns. If this really was Dong Heizui's sister, and he accidentally killed her, his career would be over. So Chizhao held back, not using words of power, zero time like last time to cut her neck directly. Of course, he saw that she wasn't using full strength either, just casually shooting some ice shards. More of a statement than an attack. Looks like she was holding back too. Suddenly, a roar and muffled sound came. The great snow barrier Mokizu had just opened broke again. She watched the quickly disappearing snowflakes, shocked. Did this guy really have partners outside? But when she saw who the figure in the sky was, she became even more excited. That iconic black and gold dragon Slichong Sam, plus the unique fishbone braid. Sister. How could sister be here? Not only her, Chizhao, surprised by the sudden breach of the great snow barrier, also noticed the visitor was Dong Heizui. Humphrey, you're finished. Know who this is? Chizhao proudly pointed at Dong Heizui in the sky. This is the great chief of Orderly Heaven's capture division, Dong Heizui. You fake sister better run, you're done for. Mokizu chuckled and stopped. Me? Humphrey, you're bold for a fake team leader, still calm until now. The conductor isn't a fake team leader. Lao Yu immediately retorted. Humphrey. Mokizu snorted coldly, ignoring them. Seeing Dong Heizui flying toward them, Mokizu pointed at Chizhao and the others, threatening, you, and you. If you three have the guts, don't run. Chizhao laughed as if hearing a joke, hands on hips. Lao Yu imitated him, making Mokizu furious. When Dong Heizui landed in front of the two, her gaze swept over Chizhao and Mokizu. Sister. Why are you here? Mokizu immediately brightened, no longer cold as before when looking at Chizhao and the others. She pounced into Dong Heizui's arms, tightly hugging her slender waist. Like a kitten, she slyly glanced at Chizhao, her eyes full of pride and a hint of provocation. Chizhao couldn't help but grimace. Damn, this thing is really real? Xiaxu? Dong Heixu? Chief Dong Heizui really has a sister? Dong Heizui lowered her head, looking at Mokizu with some helplessness. It's the rainy season. Why aren't you resting in Snowflake Village? Hearing her sister's question, Mokizu immediately raised her head and smiled. A bit busy. I'll go back after finishing. Then she began to report to Dong Heizui. Sister, there's a bad guy here. I'm teaching him a lesson. Chapter 301, approved upon application. How much do I owe? Let me check and try to make it up soon, kowtowing to everyone, ORZ. With that, she extended her finger to point at Chizhao. It's him. This guy has been swindling people using your name. He claims to be the captain you personally promoted. Isn't that despicable? Humphrey, as if he could fool me. I know and have met all 12 captains of the capture division. Before encountering me, who knows how many people he's tricked. Sister, he's tarnishing your reputation. Damn, she's reporting me? Shit, good thing I'm actually legit. Dong Heizui sighed and gently tousled Mokizu's snow-white hair. Mokizu obediently released her waist and stood aside demurely. Then Dong Heizui looked at Chizhao with a faint smile. You've got nerve, not running even now. Though I suppose it's too late to run anyway. Kneel properly and apologize to my sister. Chizhao stood firm with a serious expression. He then made a fist with his right hand, placed it over his heart, and bowed at a 45-degree angle. Lao Yu and Taiting followed suit, performing the same salute while loudly proclaiming, "We greet Chief Dong Hai." Dong Heizui nodded, and only then did the three straighten up. Mokizu. This guy is provoking me. Mokizu clearly saw the corner of Chizhao's mouth lift as he lowered his fist. A smug grin. Just then, another golden glowing figure quietly appeared. Everyone immediately saluted upon seeing him. Wang. Except for Mokizu, Everyone present made the fist over heart bow. Clearly, Mokizu also knew Wang, but as she wasn't a member of Orderly Heaven and was a free agent, saluting was optional. When Chizhao saw Wang, he sensed trouble. Not only Donghei Izui, but even Wang had come. Was it because of that purple-haired girl? Had they already read yesterday's report? Chizhao couldn't think of any other reason that would draw both of them here. It couldn't possibly be because Kangyu was captured and his identity exposed. Even if so, the response wouldn't be this excessive. Wang approached Chizhao with a faint smile. Your report mentioned obtaining a level 7 key from a mysterious purple-haired girl, correct? Reporting, yes. No need to be so tense. Wang patted his shoulder. Let me see that key. Chizhao obediently retrieved a black fountain pen from his realm bracelet. The item obtained from the purple-haired girl. After examining it briefly, Wang returned it. Nothing unusual. Keep it. Chizhao received the pen with both hands, puzzled. Wang? What's this about? Wang chuckled. I accompanied Chief Donghai here to apprehend a wanted criminal. Precisely the mysterious purple-haired girl from your report. Her true identity is actually an unpublicized class-wanted criminal. Class-wanted criminal? Same level as Kangyu? Damn, class criminals are rare. No wonder I didn't know. There are unpublicized ones too? Was my clearance level insufficient? Noticing Chizhao's confusion, Wang continued, your ignorance is understandable. These unpublicized criminals are exceptionally dangerous. If made public, ordinary people would suffer. They might kill anyone who's seen them to conceal their tracks. You understand? Chizhao nodded in comprehension. From your report, she needed something from you at Dark Castle, hence spared you. Today she attacked you, didn't she? Correct, Wang. Just as you said, I was indeed assaulted by her earlier. Thanks to Chief Donghai's sister's intervention, the threat was neutralized. Chizhao emphasized this last part 3 decibels louder. Mokizu's expression darkened upon hearing this. Simultaneously, Chizhao produced the box containing the purple tongue, presenting it to Wang. After inspection, Wang nodded and took it. Your intelligence contribution merits reward. I'll have Donghei Izui properly compensate you. With the criminal apprehended, we should return now. Carry on with your business. Wang turned to Mokizu. Youth truly brims with vitality. With that, Wang vanished. Donghei Izui approached Chizhao, speaking softly so only he could hear, you're quite cautious. Despite having the station forecast module, you still exchanged merits for intel locks. Commendable. Not letting it inflate your ego is wise. Chief. Hearing this, Chizhao immediately feigned being caught red-handed. His brows furrowed in a mix of nervousness, awkwardness, and guilt. Donghei Izui laughed heartily at his expression. Though you needn't hide such things from me. Had I known, I might have offered more assistance. Like Wang, she patted Chizhao's shoulder. Also, while advancement matters, safety comes first. Contact me anytime if issues arise. Yes, Chief. One more thing. Xiaoxu told me about your situation. It wasn't your fault. I've already reprimanded her. Lowering her voice slightly, she added, she's coveted those pears for ages. Taking the entire tree explains her outburst. Chizhao's eyes lit up. I knew it. Her obsession wasn't the tree but its fruit. The ice crystal frozen pears. Otherwise, what use is the tree? Decoration? Admittedly beautiful, but Chizhao was pragmatic. He wanted the tree for its produce. Mature ice crystal frozen pears never rot after picking, maintaining a constant -5 degrees Celsius. A powerful rule-bound item. Such items typically fetch high prices. With this perpetually fruit-bearing tree, train coins would flow endlessly. No way would he relinquish it. These special plants weren't just useful. They were new revenue streams during his cash-strapped times. As Chizhao pondered his response, Donghei Izui continued, I know that tree can't grow outside this world. Here's my offer, I'll solve its transplantation issue. In return, you'll prioritize selling the pears to Xiaoxu. Chizhao's eyes sparkled. Chief Donghai, you jest. If the tree can be cultivated, Xiaoxu can eat all the pears. How could I charge? You. Mokizu angrily pointed at Chizhao. Donghei Izui smiled, saying, no, business is business. Just prioritize selling to her. With a glance at Mokizu, Donghei Izui declared, consider this settled. And no more fighting between you two. Sister. Mokizu pouted, looking aggrieved. I'm leaving. Donghei Izui reiterated, remember. No fighting. Transforming into lightning, she departed. Both visitors had come and gone within 3 minutes. Chizhao waved at Donghei Izui's vanishing figure, safe travels, Chief Donghai. I'll coexist peacefully with your sister. No fighting guaranteed. Once Donghei Izui left, Zhao smirked. Just as planned. He'd anticipated that exchanging intel would expose his station forecast module. His boldness in using merits for intel at an inopportune time had two reasons. First, he genuinely needed that information. Early preparation was key. Waiting until docking would waste precious time. Second, his anchor point rewind and newbie act were already exposed. Did he become captain solely due to Dong Heizui recognizing his strength? No. Those two special modules played major roles. Though they were part of his capabilities, did Orderly Heaven value him personally? Not entirely. They valued the modules more. Just as Wei Chu was recruited for his mission accomplished module. Clearly, Orderly Heaven favored special module holders. Given his position, further advancement would inevitably expose his remaining modules. Better to voluntarily reveal them. Demonstrating his worth eased upward mobility. Without those two modules, he'd never have become captain. Why hadn't his modules been confiscated? Zhao couldn't fathom. Normally, shouldn't they extract them with module extraction cards? Or at least duplicate them? Did they lack the means, or simply not care? As the top organization, surely Orderly Heaven had such cards? Perhaps the time wasn't ripe. They might confiscate them eventually. Hence, maximizing his strength before that day was paramount. Speaking of which, Dong Heizui could solve the pear tree transplantation? Well, for someone at her level, it must be trivial. Straightforward. Dong Heizui couldn't help asking Wang upon returning to the train, why call it a wanted criminal? Wouldn't erasing his memories of that void be better? He even saw the void firsthand. Wang shook his head. Memory alteration is high risk. Mishandling could scramble his memories. Or drive him insane. Besides, he doesn't know it's a void. A wanted criminal is logically plausible. Claiming we caught it prevents future panic. Dong Heizui nodded in understanding. Eliminated? Wang examined the purple and black striped tongue in the wooden box. Voids are hard to kill. Strictly speaking, they lack souls. They're aggregates of extreme emotions. Feeding on them. This void spawned from greed and consumes it. More tenacious than previous ones. But this time, I depleted 99% of its energy. It won't reconstitute soon. Closing the box, Wang added, I placed a protective mark on Zhao. If that girl's aura appears within 100 meters of him, I'll sense it. Dong Heizui nodded. He's interesting. In just over a month, he's acquired at least 3 special modules. What's the novel term for this? Wang scratched his head, recalling. Ah. Child of Fortune. Smiling at Dong Heizui, cultivate him well. He might succeed you someday. Absolutely. Dong Heizui affirmed. What reward for him this time? Your call. I'll approve anything. How about a level 8 treasure chest and key? Fine by me. Approved upon application. Wang smiled. Let's return. This crimson moon displeases me. Agreed. As Dong Heizui summoned a light screen and selected Yurden as the next stop, the train vanished in a white flash. Zhao turned to the fuming Mokizu. Hey, something just occurred to me. How did those two avoid being attacked by eerie plants without photosynthetic serum? Mokizu resumed her icy demeanor, glaring coldly. You're asking me? Who asked you? Don't flatter yourself. Lao Yu. Answer. Reporting, Captain. Maybe they're plant-based like me. Zhao hastily covered Lao Yu's mouth. Kids say the darndest things. Hey. The pear tree. Seeing Mokizu's outstretched hand, Zhao clicked his tongue. Who'd have thought she really was Dong Heizui's sister? Little sister, your big sis already said the tree is mine. Why still pestering me? Pa. Shameless old man. Who's your sister? Old man? Zhao's cheek twitched involuntarily. You play the delicate flower well around your sister. None of your business. I'll buy it. Name your price. Mokizu's face remained frosty. Zhao raised an eyebrow. She actually offered to buy? She must really love the tree. But selling was out of the question. A one-time payment couldn't compare to steady future income. He knew better than to trade the fishing rod for a single fish. Chapter 302, Remodeling the Simulation Carriage. At first, when Zhao learned she was Dong Heizui's sister, he thought she was just a colleague of his. Just from another department, like Zai Yuan. So it was normal not to know her. After all, he didn't know many people from other departments. But when Wang arrived, she didn't salute. Only then did Zhao realize that she wasn't someone from Orderly Heaven. Strong, Dong Heizui's sister, and a free agent. Well, guess we've broken the ice. Let's get acquainted. My name's Zhao. Mokizu. Huh? You don't share the surname Dong Heizui? What's the matter? Mokizu gave Zhao a side glance. Got a problem? Are you half-siblings with the same father or the same mother? You sure like to talk a lot. Mokizu rolled her eyes again and shifted the topic back. How many train coins will it take for you to buy the pear tree? Just say it. Chizhao held up one finger. 1,000? Mokizu tested the waters. Are you kidding? No one asks for that much. Chizhao smiled and shook the finger he raised. No, no. What I mean is, I'm not selling. Besides, a mature ice crystal frozen pear sells for at least 10 train coins each. There are over 100 pears on that tree, so once mature, that's 1,000 train coins. After I sell them, more will keep growing. You want to buy the whole thing for 1,000, right? Chizhao rubbed his right thumb, index, and middle fingers back and forth. That's a bit low. Hearing this, Mokizu sneered coldly. You clearly don't know anything. Do you think that's just an ordinary pear tree, with fruit maturing every year? For an ice crystal frozen pear tree, it takes at least 3.5 years for one fruit to fully mature. The frozen pears currently on the tree will also take 2 to 3 years to all ripen. Earning 1,000 in 2 to 3 years? If you have that patience, then wait. Oh. Chizhao said indifferently. No worries, good food doesn't fear being late. Mokizu was irritated by Chizhao's casual attitude. If her sister hadn't strongly warned her not to act trashly before leaving, she'd have already thrown a snowball at Chizhao's head. 600. No more than that. I advise you not to be too greedy. 600 is already a lot. Chizhao looked helpless. Why did this little girl have to want that pear tree so badly? Even if I sell it to you, you can't take it with you. Leaving it here would just be a bargain for someone else later. What's the point? Who says I can't take it? Didn't sister say she could solve the transplantation problem for the ice crystal frozen pear tree? Oh, Chizhao raised his chin slightly, eyes narrowed. You little greedy one. You even want to take Donghei Izui's solution with you. Alright, but that's another price. You. What you what? Stop pointing your finger at me all the time. Seeing Mokizu raise her finger at him again, Chizhao immediately ordered, Lao Yu, point back. Lao Yu always obeyed Chizhao and promptly imitated him by raising his finger at Mokizu. You're not allowed to point at our train conductor. Mokizu glared fiercely at Lao Yu. Goblins aren't allowed to talk. Conductor, who is she talking about? What's a goblin? She's talking about you. She called you a shorty. Lao Yu. I'm just small, not short. I'm still going to grow taller. Besides, when you were my age, you weren't necessarily taller than me. Lao Yu immediately shouted back at Mokizu. This left Mokizu speechless. Don't be mad, Lao Yu. You're a boy, be generous. Let's not argue with girls. Chizhao quickly stepped forward to comfort him. Let's go, time to head home. Seeing Chizhao and the other two turn and leave without paying attention to her, Mokizu froze for a moment. Then snowflakes formed beneath her feet, lifting her up as she followed. Along the way, Chizhao deliberately took a winding path, not heading straight back to the train. Wow, it's a meteorological trumpet flower. Conductor, there's also violent lettuce here. Eating it makes you hit harder. Look, that's grassworm grass. It's hiding pretty deep. Be careful, you can't touch grassworm grass directly with your hands. Otherwise, it will instantly burrow underground and you'll never find it again. The three of them strolled leisurely, like tourists on a spring outing. Trailing behind, Mokizu had 3 big black lines on her face. Finally, after Chizhao took an entire shy grapevine, she couldn't hold back and said, You guys are bandits, right? How can you take everything you see? Hearing this, Chizhao immediately put on a wronged expression. No choice, poverty's scary. What about the people who come after us? They'll have their own wisdom. No need for us to worry. You. Mokizu realized this guy was like a dead pig that wasn't afraid of boiling water. Nothing she said would work. Successfully disgusted Mokizu, Chizhao chuckled. He didn't want to waste time arguing with her. Different values, no point. If you take them out, they'll just wither. What benefit is that to you? Why? Commander Donghei Izui, your sister said she'd help me solve the transplantation problem for these plants. How could you forget so fast? Oh, I get it. Are you envious and jealous seeing us like this? No worries, you don't have to follow us. You can get your own. This place is so big, everything's unclaimed. Everyone makes a living on their own. Mokizu clenched her small pink fists and took a deep breath. She kept repeating 2 words in her mind, calm, calm, calm. An ice spike instantly formed in her hand, which she hurled fiercely at a stinky trumpet flower behind her. That stinky trumpet flower was walking happily on the path but suddenly was pierced through with a chilling ice spike. Seeing this, Chizhao puckered his lips, shook his head, and clicked his tongue a few times. Trying to scare us? Do you think Lao Yu is so easily frightened? Chizhao crossed his arms, Lao Yu and Tiding stood on his left and right sides. He proudly said, "Do you know what 3 against 1 means? The advantage is mine." Successfully scaring off Mokizu, the 3 continued on their way. Although taking a detour, their main direction was still toward the train. Chizhao kept his insight into fate skill set to maximum range. 1,200 meters. Once the greenhouse entered the detection range, Chizhao's eyes lit up. 12 photosynthetic serums had already been produced. He immediately teleported back to the spot, leaving Lao Yu and Tiding behind to play with Mokizu here. Chizhao had told them to hold Mokizu back until he returned. Seeing Chizhao suddenly disappear, Mokizu was clearly flustered. This guy actually ran away. No good, my pear tree. Chizhao teleported directly to the laboratory and collected all the freshly made photosynthetic serum into the realm bracelet. Then he returned to the train and activated dynamic concealment to hide it. This was to further prevent Mokizu from finding them. Next, he summoned a light screen to check for any news. There was news from Donghei Izui, and not only that, she had sent him an item. This is a remodeling extraction card. You can activate it by bringing it close to the light screen. This remodeling card can transform one carriage into a simulation carriage. The simulation line will record and simulate station environments. If you plant your ice crystal frozen pear tree in this carriage, it should grow normally, as expected of the commander. Efficient. No, it should be said Donghei Izui herself was efficient. Thank you, Commander. After the polite exchange, Chizhao immediately took it out. With a flash of white light, he received a transparent card the size of a subway card. A remodeling extraction card. Chizhao was familiar with this item. Earlier, Kong Yu had given him one. He used that card to extract a modification from the Zai account's follower account. Dual thread. By extracting that modification, before level 20, Chizhao gathered 10 follower account modifications. He unlocked the hidden module, Fashion Expert. Bringing the remodeling extraction card close to the light screen, a new page popped up. Remodeling card detected. Activate remodeling? Yes or no? Chizhao clicked yes, and the card in his hand disappeared instantly. Please select the carriage to remodel. A thumbnail of Chizhao's train immediately popped up on the light screen. Some carriages were marked in red and could not be selected. Those had already undergone special modifications, like planting carriages, artillery carriages, gravity carriages, and so on. Chizhao thought for a moment and chose a carriage that had already been enlarged and remodeled, turning it into a simulation carriage. After remodeling was complete, Chizhao entered that carriage. The original steel floor had turned into soft soil. Above, hanging was a small red moon that couldn't be touched by hand. Looking closely, the red moon was constantly changing. Dynamic. Except for the absence of weird or special plants, the environment of this carriage was identical to the Blood Moon Botanical Garden. The simulation environment consumed the same 4 materials: metal, plastic, wood, and train coins. The amount consumed and focus varied depending on the simulation environment and duration. Next to the door, the operation screen showed that the carriage could simulate 1 station environment at most. You could spend train coins to unlock new simulation environment slots. Up to 5 could be unlocked. That meant this carriage could record up to 5 station environments and switch between them anytime. So expensive, 1 slot costs 50 train coins. TSK. No rush to unlock. Chizhao looked up at the carriage ceiling. This height is barely sufficient. The enlarged carriage was 7 meters long, 4 meters wide, and 3.5 meters high. The ice crystal frozen pear tree was just over 3 meters tall. Chizhao took it out and barely managed to fit it inside, almost touching the ceiling. But that alone wasn't enough. The ice crystal frozen pear tree needed a low-temperature environment of minus 30 degrees Celsius to grow. He still had to figure out how to create a cold environment. The place where this pear tree originally grew clearly didn't meet that requirement. That was Mokizu's method. Looks like he would have to borrow her method again. Before Chizhao sent a telepathic message to Tiding to bring Mokizu over, Tiding sent one first. The message that Mokizu had just disappeared. As Tiding sent the news, Mokizu's figure appeared within his detection range. Because after returning here, Chizhao's insight into fate resumed a 100-meter detection radius. So when Mokizu was detected, she was already very close. Seeing Mokizu with a smile at her lips rushing straight here, Chizhao was puzzled. What's going on? How did she find this place? It was a kilometer in diameter from the previous location. Not to mention the thick trees blocking the view, and he had even activated invisibility upon return. Wait. Chizhao seemed to realize something. It was the pear tree. Was there some kind of mark she left on the pear tree? Forget it, doesn't matter. He actually needed her here anyway. In fact, Mokizu hadn't left any marks on the pear tree. Because she didn't have any tracking skills. It was just that her frost body made her sensitive to temperature changes. As soon as Chizhao took out the pear tree, the environment temperature dropped, and Mokizu sensed it from a kilometer away. Outside the train, Mokizu tentatively reached out to touch the air in front of her. Sure enough, dynamic concealment. Mokizu withdrew her hand without speaking. Because she saw a greenhouse behind, which looked reasonably intact. Having successfully found Chizhao's train, she wasn't anxious anymore. As the saying goes, you can run from the monk but not from the temple. First, check if there's any photosynthetic serum in the greenhouse. Finding the entrance, she entered the greenhouse. Seeing the undamaged serum production devices, she breathed a little easier. The serum devices were all producing progress all at 1%. That progress was suspicious. Sure enough, when she reached the last laboratory, she ran into Chizhao pouring blood into the photosynthetic serum device. At the same time, Lao Yu and Taiding returned and passed by Mokizu to stand before Chizhao. Chizhao put down a blood bucket and wiped non-existent sweat from his forehead. He turned his head and looked at the two with a pitiful expression, saying, "Ah, why are you so late?" "A bit slow, Taiding." Chizhao's face drooped, looking displeased. "I'm almost done here." "Sorry, we got lost just now," Taiding explained. "Yeah, conductor, we didn't remember the way well. Our fault. Punish us." Lao Yu spoke up as well. On the way back, Taiding had already told him what to say and do. Of course, Chizhao had arranged this. When the serum finishes producing later, you two aren't getting any. Got it. Got it. Lao Yu and Taiding said in unison. The three of them harmonized perfectly. Mokizu standing at the lab entrance was speechless. Chizhao pretended to just notice Mokizu and exclaimed, "Oh hey, Sister Zhu came along too. Perfect timing, let's go check out the pear tree." Hearing Chizhao take the initiative, Mokizu was somewhat surprised. This guy suddenly doing this definitely meant he was up to something. Chapter 303, Transplanting the Frost Crystal Pear Tree. As expected, Chizhao was indeed up to no good. Mokizu wore an expression of displeasure. "Who's your Zhu sister?" "Stop calling me that." Chizhao shamelessly grinned. "Well, Chief Donghai is my superior, and you're her sister. By logic, shouldn't I call you little sister? Say it again and I'll freeze your tongue." Alright, no more sister then." Mokizu took a deep breath. "Let's see the pear tree." "Sure thing, this way please." "Zhu sister." "I said stop calling me that." Following Chizhao out of the greenhouse, Mokizu glared at his back, growing increasingly irritated. This bastard had orchestrated this whole scheme just to pocket all the newly produced photosynthetic serum for himself. Without the serum, she was severely handicapped here. Only due to desperate circumstances had she obtained that single dose earlier. Fortunately, the small flower atop her head remained vibrant, showing no signs of withering yet. It should last a while longer. Chizhao deactivated the dynamic camouflage, revealing the crimson train. Mokizu's eyebrows arched. So he liked this color too. She deliberately glanced at the locomotive, also red. Her color personality theory clearly didn't apply here. Someone like him couldn't possibly be red. Pure black. Pitch black. The blackest of hearts. Chizhao glanced back at Mokizu's sour expression. Why did she look even more displeased after seeing his train? Jealous of my dynamic camouflage? Possible. The carriage doors opened, and they followed Chizhao inside. The interior matched the exterior, overwhelmingly red. Chizhao explained to Mokizu, "This carriage simulates this station's environment. It's part of the transplantation plan proposed by your sister, Chief Donghai." "A simulation carriage? So this could solve the frost crystal pear tree's transplantation issues?" Mokizu lacked such technology. These modifications were rare, she'd heard of them but didn't understand their specifics. TCH. Should have asked sister earlier. A pang of regret struck her. The simulation carriage proved miraculous. Not only did it replicate the environment perfectly, it also negated the humid rainy season's effects. No dampness whatsoever. The ceiling didn't drip. So comfortable. But as you can see, this alone isn't enough. Chizhao pointed at the frost crystal pear tree leaning against the carriage wall. Mokizu picked up his thread. The frost crystal pear tree requires -30 degrees Celsius to thrive. You're not expecting me to help, are you? Bingo. Our clever Zhu sister sees right through me. Chizhao snapped his fingers. No wonder they say wise as ice and snow. I know you've got the means. How about this, we split the frost pears 50-50. He chuckled. Equal shares. Seeing Mokizu's stony expression, Chizhao arched an eyebrow, unsurprised. Time to sweeten the deal. Alright then, I'll return the pear tree to you. Another sly grin. But it stays planted here. Though frankly, it can only grow here now anyway. Chizhao declared proudly. Hearing he'd returned the tree, Mokizu's frosty demeanor softened slightly. Yet she still protested. Says who? I could take it outside and leave it there. Chizhao sighed dramatically. Sure. Then wait for someone else to steal it. Might not even be stealing, some clueless idiot might just destroy it. Mokizu had no rebuttal. He was right. What happened once could happen again. Leaving it here meant eventual discovery and theft. Same tree wherever it's planted, right? Chizhao continued tempting her. The tree's yours, just temporarily housed here. Come reclaim it whenever you're ready. Deal? Mokizu scoffed. Trying to trick a puppy? Despite her words, she extended her palm, where a pure white snow toad materialized. Murmuring, Great Snow Barrier. Intricate runes etched onto the toad's body. Once marked, the creature opened its dewy eyes and leaped into the soil. Temperatures plummeted instantly. Lao Yu retreated from the cold. Tiding remained unfazed. Chizhao's silver combat suit protected him. At -30 degrees, the pear tree seemed to awaken. The leaning trunk righted itself, floating midair as branches stretched comfortably. Under the dual effects of simulation carriage and Great Snow Barrier, the transplant succeeded. Chizhao nodded approvingly. Such a son, dear girl. My dear Zoo sister, I knew you couldn't bear to see this beautiful tree destroyed by thieves. Though honestly, it's freezing. Chizhao hugged himself, exaggerating shivers. Could you narrow the cold zone? Just around the tree? I want to plant other things here too. This extreme cold kills other plants. I can't sacrifice everything for one pear tree, right? How about this section's yours? He demarcated an area. Keep the cold contained here. Your tree thrives, I grow other stuff. Everyone wins. Mokizu side-eyed him before forming a hand seal. The snow toad emerged, relocating to Chizhao's designated plot. Temperatures normalized everywhere except that frozen patch. The pear tree floated obediently to its new spot. Satisfied, Chizhao waved at Lao Yu. Come in. It's warm now. The obedient subordinate entered, confirming the improved conditions. Mokizu approached the tree, caressing its trunk with uncharacteristic tenderness. Chizhao's eyelid twitched. Merely touching it earlier had frostbitten his hand. Yet she handled it barehanded without issue. Reunited with her precious tree, Mokizu finally smiled. Its undamaged state reassured her. Since you're being so generous, what do you really want? She kept her back turned as she spoke. Chizhao feigned hurt. Zoo sister, you wound me. I simply couldn't bear this exquisite tree abandoned here, vulnerable to vandals. Remember, I'm a bioenvironmentalist. Truthfully, Chizhao could have chilled the carriage other ways. But Mokizu's method proved smarter, more convenient. More importantly, this approach gave her psychological ownership. The illusion the tree remained hers despite its location. A masterstroke? His motives traced back to her attitude toward Wang and Orderly Heaven. While she clearly adored her sister Donghei Izui, she regarded Orderly Heaven with contempt. The reasons remained unclear, perhaps their different surnames? Or no blood relation at all? Regardless, befriending this powerful, well-connected free agent benefited him. Especially as Donghei Izui's sister, valuable connections for future endeavors. Yet he couldn't simply return the tree. Hence this elaborate scheme. Suit yourself. Mokizu turned, eyes frosty again. Once I acquire a simulation carriage, I'm taking my tree back. Absolutely. No problem. Chizhao played magnanimous. He'd anticipated this. Learning about simulation carriages would inevitably drive her to obtain one. Even if he withheld details, she could ask Donghei Izui. Better appear transparent now. By then, she might not even want it anymore. Ever since learning from Donghei Izui about Mokizu's craving for frost pears, Chizhao held leverage. Just not time to play that card yet. Actually, question. You've got station travel privileges, don't you? Chizhao doubted she'd linger here just for a tree. Her lack of serum proved she'd rushed here after his theft. Most telling was Donghei Izui's whispered question he overheard, why aren't you resting in Snowflake Village during plum rains? Though faint, his fate discernment caught every word. He knew Snowflake Village, some backwater in Yurden. For her to come from there suggested station travel. Yet her claim about reclaiming the tree later made him reconsider. Perhaps she lacked that privilege. But she clearly had some access method, which Chizhao needed to know. He couldn't stay indefinitely. Emergencies might call him back to Zun or Yurden. Yet he wanted more rare plants. Having return access proved crucial. If she possessed it, even better, he could manipulate future visits. Station travel? Don't be absurd. Orderly Heaven strictly controls those special modules. Discovery means immediate confiscation. Mokizu smirked. Everyone knows this. Stop fishing. Fishing? Zhao's genuine confusion only made her laugh harder. Nice act. No, really. I don't know. Unfazed by her mockery, Zhao pressed humbly, I only joined Orderly Heaven recently, less than 2 weeks. Still learning. Enlighten me? Why confiscate station travel modules? Keep pretending. This has nothing to do with how long you've been in order. Everyone knows. I really don't. Mokizu studied him suspiciously. He seemed sincere. Dong Heizui had only confirmed Zhao's captain status, not that he was a 5th-generation recruit. Wait. You're not just new to order, you're new here entirely. Don't tell me you're 5th generation. Zhu sister's brilliance strikes again. Spot on. Mokizu eyed him skeptically. You're shameless. 5th gens barely left beginner villages a month ago. Your resources suggest 4th generation at least. Maybe even 3rd generation old-timer. Old? Me? Zhao looked genuinely offended. Lao Yu, am I old? Captain's youthful. Peak vitality. Mokizu dismissed his antics. No way this man was a month old rookie. You're a captain. Investigate yourself. Why ask an outsider? Outsider? Never. Your sister's my direct superior, the capture division chief. My sister is my sister. Orderly Heaven is Orderly Heaven. Don't conflate them. Understood? No conflation. This reinforced Zhao's sense of her Orderly Heaven antipathy. Then treat me as a free agent. You said this was common knowledge, enlighten me? For the pear tree's sake? Mokizu sighed. Dealing with shameless people exhausted her. Fine. He'd learn eventually anyway. There are 12 special modules. You know this? Yep, that much I know. 3 are Orderly Heaven's highest control items. Discovery outside means mandatory reclamation. Station travel, silver coin hunter, and companion's path. As for why? Figure it out yourself. Or ask someone else. I won't explain further. Understood. Zhao flashed a fox-like grin, sensitive position. Don't trust me. Fair enough. With a disdainful snort, Mokizu turned to leave. Hey. If you lack station travel, how'd you get here? Not telling. Damn. Just wait until I harvest all the pears. We'll see who comes begging then. Zhao silently fumed at her retreating back.